This is Jenna Burt, host of the Confessions of a Military Spouse podcast. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Good morning, sluts. Happy No Filter Friday on Public House Media. I woke up so early, like 6-something a.m. and I was like, not even both eyes open, like one eye was like, the tea, because Ghislaine Maxwell has like become the star of the show, and the juiciness of this is just so delectable, like with what's going on with her case right now. And it really feels like, because there's so much like fretting, just panicked fretting around her court documents and her passports and her jail conditions and like all these like ancillary people that she's been messing with for all of these years, just panic, just absolutely panic. They are more panicked than the guy that I saw in on Trader Joe's on Sunset, panic buying frozen pretzels a year ago. Like, panicked, coming unglued, and they're like when Dave Chappelle plays a crackhead, like not like a real crackhead, but like a caricature of one, and like you can just see them like they're like, oh man, I gotta cover this up. Oh man, you got any more of that, media coercion? Like, they just can't give themselves away. Like, why does nobody have a poker face? Like, what happened to poker faces? Like, did they really think that nothing was ever going to happen to them? That they could just, Lolita Express an island away forever and ever and ever, and no one was going to say anything? Is that what happened? It's kind of misty today. If a gorilla comes popping off this building, don't even be surprised. I can't even see the beach this way. Anyway, so I woke up this morning with the sauce, and if you're even as a fraction of excited as I am, then we're going to have a lovely, lovely time. A couple things have happened in like the last 24 hours. It's like she times her nonsense to this show, and for that, I'm appreciative. So, with that being said, we have to talk about 2 articles and some other little bit of tea. So, basically, we'll start with just a little sip of tea first, because it's delicious. So, her brother has been going around doing this, giving interviews like, my sister didn't do anything, and I don't know why this, and blah, 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 blah. And the guy's like, he's got this British accent. And they're like, do you really think that any of us trust this anymore? Like, come on. You've got, if you're gonna run around and try to, perpetuate these lies, get a dialect coach. Do something to make yourself at least sound less aristocratically apathetic, I guess. Just do something. Do something about that voice, because, you're not going to do anything about your actions for sure. You're definitely going to be taking up for this woman. And I don't think it's because she's your sister and you love each other so much. I think it's because it's going to implicate you and people around you. That's definitely why you're doing it. So I think if you're not going to change your actions, which you're definitely not, at least get a dialect coach. You should be able to afford it. I don't see why that would be an issue for you. So he's been doing these interviews, and in I saw an audio clip. So it might have been a on-camera interview, or it might have been audio only. I'm not sure. But basically, they showed him the photograph of Ghislaine in the background that we've all seen. Ghislaine in the background, and then Prince Andrew with Virginia Guff in the foreground. And he accidentally, not on purpose, let it slip that photograph was taken in Ghislaine's house. And of course, he didn't say, oh yes, that's my sister's home. He didn't say that. He was like, oh, it could have been faked, and it could have been this, and oh yes, I recognize that home. Just say it. I mean, I'm so tired of people acting these demonic oligarchs. I'm so sick of of them acting like people can't see through the nonsense. Like, come on, dude. Like, come on. Like, at least fix that accent, and then, like, just could you have some conviction, maybe? Like, don't make it so easy. Like, put some effort in, home skillet. Jesus. Okay, so let's get to the hot story of the minute is her redacted court documents, and we're going to get to that, but we're going to do this first because the sauce, the tea that the Wall Street Journal spilled, again, accidentally, subtly. I mean, I'm not going to say it's like all the way between the lines, but it's like slightly above the line. Anyway, Ghislaine has to sell this little funky, expensive house she has in Hyde Park. And of course, she just said that she was, happy to give up her British citizenship, happy to give up her French citizenship. This woman cannot get away from the UK faster, and I think it might be because some of that queen clap. I think, above all else, she is very scared of the queen clap that could very well come her way because, Prince Andrew is the queen's favorite. Been the queen's favorite, stays the queen's favorite, despite, everything that's happened. And this woman just cannot distance herself from the UK enough to be happy to give up the citizenship of 2 Tier A passports, especially of a country that you grew up in, you have homes in, you have some snibbity, snobbity, floppity family there. I mean, not that they really care about each other, but still, her brother's taking it for her regardless. It's just, it is sus. It is absolutely sus, and there's literally no way around that. So, she has decided to sell this Hyde Park home to pay for legal fees, because now she's a broco. And also, obviously, try to avoid that queen clap. And it's, it kind of looks like a carriage house. I mean, I guess this would be cute there, I suppose. And the houses in this neighborhood go for $2.6 to $8 million, like, depending. That's in British pound. The U.S. equivalent is $3.6 million to $11.2 million. So anyway, she sold this house to pay legal fees, and the sale ran into complications with Miss Maxwell's bank, Barclays. The bank closed her account in February, the day after the lawyers deposited £130,000, an initial payment from the buyer. In a letter from the bank that was viewed by the Wall Street Journal, Barclays cited the terms that forbid customers from putting the bank in a position where it might break the law, regulation, code, or other duty. Financial laws across the pond are a little bit different than U.S. And the Maxwell family has found a way to complete the sale of the house without the bank being involved. Also sus, but that's a whole different category. Anyway, this is the real tea that Wall Street Journal spilled in just beautiful fashion. Barclays' chief executive officer, Jess Stanley, counted Epstein as a client when he was an executive at JP Morgan Chase. He made visits to Epstein at his private Caribbean island. The Journal has reported UK regulators opened an investigation into how Mr. Stanley characterized his relationship with a convicted sex offender to Barclays, and how the British lender described it to the regulator. A spokesman of the UK Financial Conduct Authority declined to comment on the investigation. Mr. Stanley said his relationship with Epstein was professional, and it began in 2000 when he was the head of JP Morgan's private bank, and the financier was a client. A major Barclays shareholder called last year for the bank to withdraw its support from Mr. Stanley because of his links to Epstein. I really wonder who that Barclays shareholder was. Anyway, we'll get to that eventually. Miss Maxwell's brother, Ian Maxwell, accused Barclays of closing her account to protect Mr. Stanley. We have no idea what Stanley got up to with Epstein, but whatever it is, it's his problem and should not be taking his problems out on my sister. Mr. Maxwell said Stanley is playing at Pontius Pilate with my sister's life. my sister's life. Didn't say situation, case, he said life. Federal prosecutors brought sex trafficking charges against Epstein in 2019, proceeded to lie about him killing himself. Here, let's skip down a little bit. Okay, well, that's it for that. Anyway, so she sold her little house, her little Hyde Park house, for legal fees. Hi from Pentasquishy, Canada, to pay her little crusty legal fees. And it's so funny how her and Epstein were just swimming in cash as a financier, and now Barclays, the bank, won't entertain them anymore. That they're trying to cut ties and this, that, and the other thing. Interesting. That is a very interesting form of cancel culture right there. Very, very interesting. And not that it would be worth her legal situation right now, but if nobody knew that she had an account there and there wasn't anything going on, like legally transaction-wise, then why would they feel the need to close that account? Suspect. Absolutely suspect. Okay, now, let's get on to these redacted court documents that just sort of surfaced. Now, this article from the Toronto Sun is just, it might be a No Filter Friday Hall of Fame. It very well could be. And it's by Brad Hunter, as part of us on March 19th, 2021. And I don't know if this guy is like a full-time journalist. Let me know in the comments what I think he actually does for a living. I think he is a door-to-door smoke delivery service. That's what I think, but you guys can let me know. So, Maxwell's pleaded not guilty to a slew of sex trafficking charges. We know this. And perjury and blah, 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 blah because of Jeffrey Epstein. Late Thursday, a federal judge gave Maxwell and her legal team a win. She had requested that certain details in the criminal case against her be kept secret. The U.S. District Judge Allison J. Nathan ruled in favor of the redactions that Maxwell wanted regarding sealed transcripts the government filed last month. The judge said the twisted details might be too sensational and impure for public sensibilities. So, with that being said, what was redacted from this was not anything to do with the description of what happened to these girls under Ghislaine and Jeffrey Epstein's puppeting. What is redacted is names. These portions of the transcript, which were redacted in the civil matter, concern privacy interests, and their disclosure would merely serve to cater to a craving for that is which sensational and impure. How on earth are we concerned about purity and legal documents? Mind blown. Nathan also granted the prosecution some redactions they had made when filing the transcript. The feds wanted to protect the integrity of their probe and third parties, but it wasn't all roses for the publishing era. Some of her requests were torpedoed. Though the defendant contends that some of the information contained in the redactions is public, she furnishes no evidence to that effect, the decision said. In days gone by, newspaper reports on trials and crimes could contain treasure trove of code words as meanings of skirting readers' sensibilities. That's what I'm for. Disturbing elements were often referred to as unnatural and other standbys of a more civilized era. We're not living in a civilized era. People like this get to run around and then kill themselves in jail, and then the media just, oh, yep, killed himself. Yep, killed himself. What? A more civilized era. Civilized is come and gone. It's gone and over with. So let's just not. Today, that it is impossible to be when too many people can barely get past the headline before registering their rage on Twitter. Since now all of a sudden the media cares about rage and Twitter impressions. That's so, oh gosh. Priorities. How priorities shift, which then spreads like a contagion, resulting in the big ball of stupid. So people tweeting about this mess is the big ball of stupid. The media claiming that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself in jail, and the guards weren't, they weren't like the regular guards that he normally had, and like, the camera footage, like it just malfunctioned for a little while, and yeah, well, he didn't have nothing in his cell, and he was getting checked on, and like, he hung himself. He hung himself. That's not the big ball of stupid. People being outraged by fully grown, capable bodied adults trafficking children and raping them. That's the ball of stupid. Okay, cool. I'm so glad we're on the same page. Accusations that she was an active participant in the sexual abuse of teen girls, dreamed of marrying Epstein, and was sexually ravenous, but have not helped her case. Any attempt to recaptivate the narrative on her part is bound to fail. After all, what adult woman or man wouldn't raise the alarm bells if there was an army of half-naked 15-year-olds traipsing around the pool? Unless, of course, you were an active participant in the sexual abuse. None of the allegations of Maxwell have been proven in court. Friends and family of the socialite have publicly moaned about poor Ghislaine and her jailhouse trials and tribulations. They would be pleased if we all believed the brunette was akin to Mother Teresa or some woe-begone woman fallen under the vile umbrella of Jeffrey Epstein. Judge Allison J. Nathan can redact whatever she wants. Maxwell goes to trial in Manhattan in July. bhunter@postmedia.com. Snaps for B. Hunter. Snaps for B. Hunter. She can redact whatever she wants. Why? Because we're coming for that ass. That's why. It's just... I'm like the level of insulting just never ceases to amaze me. Never. So her little redactions are there. She didn't get them all approved. I think they probably didn't approve all of them, like just to appease, the few of us like myself that are so incredibly unbelieving, just this word that just doesn't really cover it, but just so uningrated with this nonsense that the media is peddling and this court situation and everything surrounding her is just trash. But like B. Hunter said, the judge can redact whatever she likes, but we all know what the deal is, and it's just silly. Like we're coming for her head regardless. So redact away. We'll just keep reading between the lines. Fine. And then we'll keep reading between the lines, and then we'll match that up with any more of them distractions coming out from the people surrounding her. Piers Morgan. So, that is enough No Filter Friday for 1 week. It was saucy. It was so much fun. And then I think next week, it's our last show before Public House Media takes its hiatus. So I'm still trying to make decisions, but we've had this relationship for years, so I don't know if I should continue just doing live sporadically, or maybe just compile episodes for when the network comes back, and then they'll all get uploaded, and you and I can still do this. I'm not sure what we're going to do. But I'm sure the answer will come to me. I'm sure it will come to me. It will just, rain down on me like the Dubai sun. Check out other shows on Public House Media, like Choose to Rise, which you can actually listen to on the radio in Turkey, BTW. And I will see you all next week for another No Filter Friday. God only knows what's going to happen. The show writes itself. And Ghislaine Maxwell's a new star. Bye!